Yo, what's up? So I said, the pandemic's been pretty bad. Um, I'd like to get 1,000 views on my videos, but it just doesn't seem to happen. And basically, I'm so lost on this whole YouTube thing because I swear I would have like at least another YouTube channel if I just knew what to do with this channel. And if the income was coming to keep the channel running, and I could, take a good chunk of that home with me, I'd be able to sort of explain what I'm doing on here a little more. Right now, um, there's just so much going on in the world, and I'm sort of forced to talk about that before anything else for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I have Tourette's or like Asperger's or autism or like something like that, where I just can't seem to like lock in on what's truly going on. And there's a lot of misinformation about that because word of mouth is the main spread of misinformation. And one theory that I have for sort of like a run amok misinformation syndrome, like widespread misinformation theory. And the thing about all these theories that I could come up with is sort of that any entrepreneur is sort of running on a treadmill eerily. And the thing about the internet and YouTube and social media is we are so deep into this marathon. No, there's so many deaths going on at the same time, and I'm in a position where I'm not aware if those deaths from the pandemic are affecting my status, as far as what am I doing online and what am I doing in real life. Because when I'm at work, I'm not doing anything. I'm just wasting my time because misinformation uh, theory is sort of one thing that's on my mind. And when my mind clears up and I'm no longer thinking about that and I come up with something else, it feels like I'm at the short end of the stick when it comes to having what I need. So first of all, it's like being me, not being somebody who comes on here to tell you what they're like, because people come on here to tell you what they're like. And if you aren't really necessarily gonna succeed, then it's just gonna feel that way. Like you're coming online to tell people what I'm like. I'm coming online to tell people what I'm like. Like you're online telling people what you're like, and it just doesn't work out for me. And it just is sort of like another uh, thing that I'm thinking about while I breathe, only when I have certain things in my life. I don't breathe without food. I don't breathe without clothes. I don't breathe without laundry. I don't breathe without YouTube. I don't breathe without cable and 5G. Right now, I don't have internet, and I'm not breathing, but I am because I'm using 5G and the technology. I've adapted to it in so many ways because I swear I'm doing more things now with 5G than when I had 5G and the internet. And it's just because there's so much misinformation. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm supposed to feel that way when I have 5G and internet. It's just misinformation, like it's like somebody's sitting me down and trying to force me to know how to have 5G and internet at the same time. Otherwise, they just want to cut off my internet and leave me with the iPhone. And there's not necessarily a lot of people like that I know of that I come on here and watch, or that I go on to like a daydream about, like ooh, like because I think about nothing all day. And I'm coming over here to YouTube to be open about who I'm thinking about. It's not that I'm thinking about people. I'm just thinking about how I don't have internet and how when I have internet, I don't necessarily do the same things as I do as when I don't have internet. So am I really talking about anything when I do that? Not really. So what ends up happening, I think, in society is people get married for the wrong reasons, and just end up wasting huge chunks of their life being married to somebody, and like sleeping in different beds. And the pandemic, what the pandemic has done to that it's huge, because now you can't do anything, so if there's anybody open about abuse who comes onto YouTube to be open about how they're abused or something like that, and it happens to go their way, it's sort of like an example of how, yeah, that's cool that we're watching somebody get through it. Definitely, I'm more than happy um, to know that I'm not responsible for that person being saved. From that perspective, that I'm much like other YouTube users. I'm not on here to save people's lives, and it's just not my job. If you look into it, which I have, it's very hard to get yourself heard. There's obvious examples from like the Black Lives Matter and everything like that, and like the churches and shit like that. So when somebody attacks you on social media, it's the same thing. It's domestic abuse, it's domestic violence, it's misinformation, um, that's just like swallowing you, because you come on here to watch people talk like me, like talk about nothing, because people who don't talk are like that. Like you wonder what are they doing. So I like wonder what are people doing. They're not doing anything, and there's like this huge like syndrome that like people think there's something going on, and they don't stop to think about all of the misinformation that comes from that. And and then we sit back and we laugh at our stupid mistakes. And it's just I'm not going to hold something stupid against you um if you do it once, because I'm looking out for myself. But it's hard to get back up. It's hard to get back up when somebody knocks you down. It is really. And um so bullying is like something that's going on. It's widespread. And we're all getting bullied by the pandemic. Me, I've never been one to know what people are up to. So there's a lot of misinformation about that, because the people bullying you aren't doing anything with their lives, honestly. People like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, the Mark Zuckerberg, they're not doing anything with their lives. They're married to gold diggers who um, steal their money, and don't let them make their own decisions when it comes to what they're gonna buy with their paychecks. They have these huge fucking paychecks. Money is, everybody knows money is not anything, and there's huge misinformation about money. Like how we um, feel right now is, I feel like I come on to the internet and I put on the TV, and everybody knows being a billionaire doesn't make you special, because you're married to somebody who is robbing you the whole time, won't let you shop. um, Look, one thing you can do is Google millionaires deaths and billionaire deaths, so that's what we live in, basically. And basically, if you're afraid to hit a cop, you're gonna get bullied, because people who can get away with shit like that, they don't have it good. They're wasting their time fighting people who are just bullying them, or just doing their job. And they can be pranksters, they can be alcoholics, they can be drug addicts, they can be klepto. And people who always want to fight, you know never lose. Never lose. People who always want to fight never lose until they get knocked the fuck down bloody, you know? And that's not justice. That's not enough justice for me. So take a good look at it. Martin Luther King, he stood up for so many people. Abraham Lincoln stood up for so many people. And you know, it just goes to show you how misinformation is, if not the place where a good chunk of homicides come from, it just me validating myself about how people are literally living life at the edge of a cliff no matter what. There's all the sense of billionaires, all the millionaires are living their life at the edge of a cliff. You know, like whoever taught those people how to get rich, whoever made those people rich, that's the type of shit that's gonna drive you crazy if you think about it. For at least an hour a day and write about it for at least an hour a day, and write about it for at least an hour a day, 3,000 hours a day. And it's so fucking funny to see people steal right in front of you, because if you're not somebody who's gonna fight, then you have to learn to fight, and you have to learn how to win a fight, a fist fight, and you have to learn how to talk and get people involved and get people to defend you. And in this country, lawyers are all people, ordinary people working one step at a time, like everybody else in the world, like a McDonald's employee, like a minimum wage job employee. There's no difference between Jeff Bezos and a minimum wage employee. So misinformation is, the, the funny thing about the pandemic has been, that we don't see it as misinformation, and it will never be seen as misinformation. The same way how you can't sort of debunk all of the bullshit behind of the Holocaust, for example, in World War I and World War II. So, obviously, if you're a victim of domestic abuse, then, I can't speak on behalf of you. I can only speak on behalf of myself. And it's weird how people come up eerily, because, workplace safety is, obviously one thing that I think about. And, there's people like Ty Lopez and Gary Vee who just don't make sense, and they're coming from like an abusive background, obviously, or poverty, or like rich parents or middle class. But, once you fall into the demographic of somebody who's going to be homeless in the future, you don't even know what that means, for example. And it's just weird how, it's something that I'm addressing on a video for no reason, because I feel like the important people in society are the same people that they were 10 years ago if they're 30, the same people that they were 20 years ago if they're 50 or 40. And, it's just weird how, I look at Biden, I look at Trump, I look at Obama, I look at Bush, and I don't see it. What are you guys trying to show me about them? I mean, I do. I do watch the news. And, like, I get what's going on at times, but if you really think about it, how they're the same people who they've been since they were 10 years old. Can you really tell me what's going on in the world? And why don't I understand it right now? And why is it gonna change again? Like, why am I gonna come back on YouTube to make another video when I'm, speaking about something that doesn't even matter to me until it happens, like getting like evicted from a home or something, like an apartment or something like that. So it just goes to show you how, weird it is that, you know, I can't get 1,000 views on my YouTube videos, I'm gonna end up talking about things that you guys want me to talk about. If you get my views to 1,000 views per video, things I don't even know about right now. I mean, I know about some things, but I don't really know what's going on. So take a look at billionaires and millionaires who, went through the military before starting their companies. Like, what do they do? Like, am I the only person who feels like it's not interesting to see somebody online who is successful because of misinformation? I don't know. Personally, I think money can ruin your relationships with family members and friends, and that's basically what I see when I come on here. There's a bunch of people who don't give a shit about their friends or family, and they're just living life at the edge of the cliff like everyone else. And it's me laughing at Biden, laughing at Trump, laughing at Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, and yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, because no matter what happens, everything is their fault. Everything is their fault. No matter what, it just is. It just is their fault that I'm poor, that I'm homeless, It just is their fault, that I would have to go through something just to get from one point in my life to the other. Because, they're just big gossipers at the end of the day, who they won't spend their fortunes. Honestly, I doubt it. And it's just weird to see them do that again. So that's what misinformation is.